Me and running, I'll be honest and say I don't like it. I enjoy how I feel after I've run. And in general, that's true for me in exercise. But I do it. Here we go. Hi, I'm Richard. I'm a 46-year-old guy who has been trying in a lot of different ways over the last 5 years to get myself healthy with varying degrees of success. And for the last year and a half, about, a lot of work I've done has sort of slowly but surely been eroded. And I'm trying to get back on the path. And I'm going to be telling my story in real time this way, partially for accountability, let's say, and also partially because I hope my story will be helpful. So I've always struggled with my weight. I was a husky kid. When I hit my growth spurt in puberty, I stretched out. I didn't really lose any weight. I just grew a lot and naturally thinned out that way. When I graduated high school, I was, I think, about 175 pounds, 6'1". Not in terrific physical shape, but I was, I was pretty normal looking, all things considered. Got heavier once I was in college and sort of ballooned up to 230 pounds. Got back down to 195 or so, blew back up, got back down. When I was 24 and I got married, I was about 195 pounds. I think about 9 months later, I was probably 220. Kind of stuck around the 230s, 240s for a few years. I think in 2005, I was probably in my 260s. Probably got up to 270s, 280s. Then 2009 got down to, I think, 259, thereabouts. After a summer in Greece where I was just walking everywhere and sweating all the time. And when we had our first child, blew up again to the 280s and then just kept going from there. About almost 4 years ago, I topped out at probably 349. And in September 2019, I kind of started making a concerted effort to lose weight. And over the next year and 2/3, let's say, I lost about 120 pounds, got down to 229 in April of 2021. And ever since then, I've been starting to creep back up. And in the last month, I've kind of landed fairly solidly in the low to mid 250s. Now here's the thing. All things considered, I'm in about as good a shape as I've ever been. There's more to it than just the number on the scale. So throughout the last 20 years, I've had a number of other health issues. So in 2007, I slipped on ice and broke my ankle, and that kind of immobilized me for several months. Essentially what happened is I slipped on ice, put my right foot down to try to correct, and it came down with such force at such a screwy angle that the bone snapped. And the doctor, the orthopedic surgeon, sort of very kindly and gently said that it was sort of the force plus the weight of what was coming down on the bone. So that if I hadn't been as heavy as I was at that point, then it wouldn't have been so bad. I lost some weight and put on some muscle getting around on crutches, but then as soon as I wasn't on crutches anymore, I started gaining weight again. As is probably no real surprise, in there I developed sleep apnea. My wife would sort of characterize my snoring as initially gentle little snorkels, and then it was, well, you sounded like you were dreaming you were a lion chasing an elephant, and then suddenly you caught one. And then we went from there to, oh my God, honey, wake up, you're not breathing. So about 6 years ago, I finally got a CPAP machine, and I remember them telling me, you'll have so much energy from actually sleeping again that you'll lose 10 pounds just for free. Well, that didn't happen. It was to the point where I was falling, and I was falling asleep within 5 minutes of sitting down, and that included driving. So it was becoming dangerous for me and for my family with the condition I was in. So, the CPAP machine at least headed off disaster where that was concerned. And then there was another issue that I developed. I saw the initial signs of it in 2010, but didn't really know what it was for a few years. And that was what's called a diastasis recti, which is the separation of the abdominal muscles. That also causes some issues and can cause some issues down the road. And in 2018, I started seeing a specialist who worked specifically with diastasis recti, and that also started to make a difference. The core of it really was weight, and I had to do something about that, to sort of keep all the other issues in line. And it's not an abstract issue for me. Heart diseases in my family. Both of my grandfathers died of heart attacks relatively young. My dad has had 3 heart attacks in the last 23 years, almost 24 years. All I got to do to sort of remind myself of my motivation is it's not looking in the mirror, it's looking at my wife and my kids. I'm trying to deal with all these things, and I'm hopeful that this video series will help me, and maybe it'll help you too.